My name is Dr. Sophie Wise, and I work with an innovative group of educators who are preparing needed support resources for teachers as Georgia gets ready to change standards for ELA in 2025. When preparing for the implementation of the new K-12 grammar standards, instructional considerations and key concentrations for preparation will be crucial for successful teaching and learning. Today, I am providing several instructional considerations and areas of concentration to ensure teachers are ready and students benefit from a clear, scaffolded, and integrated grammar curriculum. I'm sure at this point you are on the edge of your seats and your patience level as you consider changing your curriculum. So let's look at some similarities to the current Georgia Standards of Excellence in order to ease your minds a bit on these changes. Moving on to the differences in these new grammar standards as we grow as educators. First, this new platform offers a more specific approach to grammar instruction. The K-12 grammar standards provide more detailed and specific expectations for grammar at each grade level. For example, standards like K-12, L.GC, 1.44, form and use participles, and K-12, L.GC, 1.45, recognize and correct vague pronoun references, lay out clear, grade-specific goals. While the GSE ELA standards also address these concepts, they tend to be broader, allowing for flexibility in how and when specific grammar points are taught. Next, a highlight is grammar as a core focus. In the new K-12 grammar standards, grammar is given a more central and focused role, being treated as an independent strand of language education, with precise grammar outcomes at each grade level. The GSE ELA standards tend to integrate grammar within other domains, such as writing and reading, where grammar is part of a larger framework rather than a standalone focus. Finally, we see explicit skills for higher grades, the K-12 grammar standards. Introduce more explicit and advanced grammatical structures at earlier stages and continue this into higher grades. In contrast, GSE ELA standards often bundle grammar within larger competencies, like writing or speaking, without always explicitly addressing advanced structures such as participles or vague pronoun corrections in as much detail. Teachers will need to be focused on mastery at each grade level and assessment to discern support and needs of remediation. When standards are not met with proficiency, a sense of constant reinforcement will be necessary. The GUM chart for the new standards shows each grade level of introduction and expected mastery grade level. However, it is imperative that focus is placed on the reinforcement levels as well. The first similarity of these new grammar standards with the current ones relies on a keen focus on language convention. Both sets of standards emphasize the importance of grammar, usage, and mechanics. GUM. The GSE ELA standards already stress the need for students to demonstrate command of English grammar, usage, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. The new K-12 grammar standards similarly emphasize a strong command of these fundamental language conventions across grade levels. The next similarity is the integration of grammar into writing and reading. Both the GSE and the new K-12 grammar standards integrate grammar instruction within the broader context of reading, writing, and communication. They do not treat grammar as an isolated subject, but rather connect it to the purpose of improving writing and comprehension. Finally, both sets of standards take a progressive approach to learning. Starting with foundational grammar skills in early grades, students build toward more complex grammatical structures by high school. The GSE ELA standards similarly scaffold grammatical knowledge and skill development from K-12. The current grammar standards and the new grammar standards also correlate well and should make our transition quite fluid. Both the K-12 grammar standards and the GSE ELA standards aim to help students use grammar to enhance clarity, cohesion, and precision in their communication. They both recognize that mastering grammar enables students to express ideas effectively and comprehend complex texts. In addition, both sets of standards emphasize mastery of standard English conventions. In the GSE, this is typically found under writing and language domains, while in the K-12 grammar standards, it is directly addressed under specific grammar rules. The aim is consistent, ensuring students are proficient in formal academic language conventions. Finally, both sets of standards prioritize not just knowledge of grammatical rules, but also the application of these rules in various contexts. For example, students are expected to apply understanding of syntax and sentence structure to improve their writing. The K-12 grammar standards formalize this application more distinctly through specific rules, while the GSE ELA integrates it into broader writing and speaking tasks. The new K-12 grammar standards complement and extend the existing GSE ELA standards by providing more specific and structured grammar instruction. While both prioritize grammar as a key component of communication, the new standards place a clearer emphasis on explicit grammar instruction at each grade level, creating opportunities for more detailed and structured learning experiences. This shift aligns with the GSE's overall goals of ensuring language mastery but adds depth and clarity to grammar instruction as an ongoing, progressive skill set. So, what are the next steps to this process? We have developed something that we call the 4 T's for instructional design. These T's are teach, test, tier, and talk. While these components work seamlessly together in curriculum planning, let's take a few minutes to go over each of them in detail. First, let's think about our daily teaching at Tier 1, which includes how we will teach all students. The new standards emphasize a systematic progression of skills from K-12, with foundational grammar taught early and more complex structures introduced gradually. Teachers should understand how their grade-level standards fit within this progression. You will need to develop a clear understanding of both the grammar expectations for your grade and how these skills build upon or prepare students for future learning. Engage in cross-grade collaboration to ensure smooth transitions for students and avoid instructional gaps or redundancies. You must also embrace the concept that grammar should not be taught in isolation, but within the context of authentic reading and writing tasks. This aligns with research showing that students learn grammar best when they see its practical application in meaningful contexts. Finally, plan lessons that integrate grammar instruction into writing, reading, and speaking activities. For example, teach the use of participles when students are revising their narrative writing, or analyze vague pronoun references in a reading passage. Incorporate both explicit grammar instruction and opportunities for students to practice applying grammar rules in their work. Grammar concepts like participles or pronoun references can be abstract. Providing explicit instruction with clear modeling is essential to ensure comprehension. Incorporate direct instruction where you model correct grammar usage such as sentence diagramming, think aloud strategies, and sentence-level analysis. Provide students with opportunities to work through guided practice with structured support, then transition to independent use. You will have students walk into your rooms with a preconceived notion of writing, and grammar can sometimes be viewed as dry or tedious by students. Making grammar instruction engaging and interactive can help increase student motivation and retention. Thus, plan grammar activities that are interactive, such as grammar games, peer editing, collaborative writing tasks, or digital tools like grammar apps. Use a variety of teaching techniques like movement-based activities or grammar scavenger hunts to keep students engaged while reinforcing grammar concepts. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Students and teachers are never huge fans of assessment. However, we must provide opportunities for students to show mastery of a standard or give us an idea of how to support them in future instruction. The second T is test. Assessments should be ongoing and timely so as to create a sense of consistency in your class. Make the assessment process fun and help students to be more self-directed in their learning through testing. Use student data to target specific grammar skills that need reinforcement. Provide intervention or enrichment opportunities based on assessment data. As you test, you will utilize the next important T, which is to tier students for instructional support or enrichment. Our next T concerns our diverse students who may need remediation, support, accommodations, or modifications. After our initial Tier 1 teaching strategies, we will assess to see where students stand in the learning process of the grammar standards. After assessment, teachers should form small groups based on needed support. This will not be the entire class, but various levels of groups at the Tier 2 level that would need a little extra support to reach proficiency. Students enter classrooms with varying levels of grammar knowledge, especially English language learners or students with learning differences. Many classrooms are linguistically diverse, and understanding how grammar functions in other languages can inform how students learn English grammar. Prepare for the unique needs of English language learners by exploring how their native languages differ grammatically from English. Use contrastive analysis to highlight differences in syntax, verb structures, or pronoun usage. Provide sentence frames and visual organizers to support understanding. Differentiating instruction based on individual needs will be crucial to meet the wide range of abilities. Preparation should also focus on multiple instructional strategies such as scaffolding, visual aids, sentence frames, and peer support. You will also find that a few students may need to be placed in a Tier 3 level of academic support. These students will need more individualized plans in order to work toward proficiency. Never be alarmed that you will have some students at Tier 2 and 3. Students will always enter your classroom with a diverse instructional and academic background. Find ways at Tier 1 for all students and then move forward in your planning based on student individualized needs. You may need to seek digital or software support for Tier 3 students. Finally, I want to emphasize the T of talk. Providing effective, timely feedback is one of the most powerful tools we have as teachers to help students improve their grammar. By being specific, focusing on patterns, offering balanced and actionable feedback, and encouraging self-reflection, we can make a real impact on their learning. Grammar feedback doesn't have to wait until a writing assignment is graded. Use immediate feedback during class activities, such as writing exercises or peer reviews. For example, while students are writing or revising, circulate and give quick feedback like, "You've used the past tense here, but this story is happening in the present." Immediate feedback can correct errors on the spot, making it more effective. Not all students respond to written feedback in the same way. Consider using audio feedback for students who may benefit from hearing corrections, or even video recordings for more detailed explanations. You can also use rubrics with clear criteria to make expectations and feedback more transparent. Always highlight growth over time. Students need to see that they're improving. One way to do this is by keeping a grammar log or portfolio where students track their progress over time. If you provide feedback on common mistakes early in the learning process, revisit those same areas later to show how much they've grown. Create a classroom atmosphere where growth is embraced and celebrated. Take a deep breath here, teachers. You've got this. As a final thought, continue to create plans but be flexible. Align grammar instruction with reading, writing, and speaking. Also, use a good selection of mentor texts and short readings to illustrate good writing and apply the standards in meaningful ways such as speaking and writing. Good luck and best wishes with this important endeavor for students.